All right, everybody, we all know why we are here. Michael Cohen here on the Sports Talk Nation. As the news breaking today, as you can see, I got my Mets stuff on because I was getting ready for a Mets game. That was supposed to be the big story. The Mets opening the season. You got the NCAA championship with Gonzaga and Baylor, but the Jets decided let's just drop a bomb on all this and blow it all up. And lo and behold, Sam Darnold has been traded to the Carolina Panthers for a sixth-round pick in this year's draft and a second-round and fourth-round pick in next year's draft in 2022. It makes it pretty obvious now at this point that the Jets are going to, or certainly in the direction of moving towards drafting BYU quarterback Zach Wilson with the number 2 overall pick. It's been pretty obvious for some time now, considering the way the Jets went in the representation the Jets sent to the pro day for Wilson. We had both Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas, Mike LaFleur, all going over there to Utah to watch his workout. And, of course, with the photos that came out with Douglas having extensive conversations on the sideline with Wilson, it's pretty obvious that Joe Douglas feels that this is his guy and he is going to roll the dice on this pick. Now, we'll get into more of that in a minute. And let's be honest, Darnold just never really had a shot here in New York. Not with all the inconsistencies in the front office, the inconsistencies in the coaching staff, 2 different head coaches, 2 different offensive coordinators. You're bringing Adam Gase, who was a complete and utter disaster. The talent level had gotten progressively worse each of the last few years. And yes, I understand that. Darnold did not play well. There's no excuse for that. I understand that. He did not live up to the expectations here with the New York Jets, for that matter. But it's not without the fact that the Jets themselves, as an overall franchise and the team around him, were a utter train wreck. So that's why, for him, he needs a change of scenery. Is he a great quarterback? No. But he does go to Carolina, a team that is a interesting football team. He gets reunited with Robbie Anderson, former wide receiver of the Jets, who, oh, by the way, Joe Douglas didn't want to resign last year. And the head coach of the team is Matt Rule, who, oh, by the way, Christopher Johnson thought wasn't good enough to be the head coach. He thought Adam Gase was better. Yeah, it goes down to Carolina to be with those 2 guys, so you can imagine if, let's just say, that Wilson does struggle with the Jets and Darnold figures it out down there with those guys, Joe Douglas and the Jets are going to look really, really bad. That being said, this is now really all about Joe Douglas. He came into, for the last couple of years, a lot of people have been pointing out, and understandably so, saying that, hey, look, this has been Mike McCagnon's monster. This has been all these players that are here. A lot of these players here were Mike McCagnon guys, and things did not work out, and that's obviously true. That being said, now there are no more excuses for Joe Douglas. He has now got to get this right. Zach Wilson not only has to come here, and he could even be Justin Fields as well. Could be him. It could be either Fields or Wilson, but it sounds like probably going to be Wilson, if you listen to all the prognosticators and all the insiders. If it is Wilson, he has to live up to all these lofty comparisons that people are making. Comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, comparing him to Aaron Rodgers. He has to live up to that in the big city, in New York. A quarterback who is a rookie quarterback from BYU coming to the Big Apple. It sounds like it could be asking a lot, but look, a lot of people like the kid's arm. A lot of people think he's got a lot of talent. We shall see what that will look like in the NFL. Everyone's going to make their own predictions about who they think is going to be a great quarterback now. We shall see what happens next fall. But the bottom line is, this is all about Joe Douglas now, and about whether he is now going to build this team up correctly to be a championship contender year in and year out. And I'll be honest, look, I hope they are right. I hope Zach Wilson does turn into a great player. But we will see what happens. So many times in this draft, which is a crapshoot, we see teams fall in love with players who get a lot of hype, and it doesn't always work out. You never know, especially quarterbacks that high. And we can go over the names. Ryan Leaf, RG3, Johnny Manziel. These are just some of the players that got highly touted coming out of college. Even Sam Darnold, highly touted out of college, didn't work out. They didn't live up to their billing as a top pick. Didn't live up to it at all. So who am I to sit here and say and tell you that Zach Wilson, if the Jets draft him with a second overall pick, or even Justin Fields for that matter, he's going to turn out to be a great quarterback. I have no idea. I see the stats from college; they look good, especially his last year there at BYU. His sophomore year there in BYU left a lot to be desired with the injuries that he had to endure. And of course, he played a tougher schedule, played tougher opponents that year in his sophomore year compared to last season, his junior year, where they didn't play really anybody for that matter in BYU. That's why for Joe Douglas, this is all about him now. This is on him. He has got to get this right, and the Jets have to. Unlike what they did with Darnold, where they did not get him any help, they got to get this young quarterback as much help as they possibly can. Otherwise, they're doing this all over again in a few more years. And that's why I said this in a previous video. There's just this cycle they go through, 2, 3, 4 years. They're looking to get another quarterback. It has to come to an end at some point. So the Sam Darnold era is over. Or is that error? Error? I don't know how you want to call that. But it is indeed over as he now moves to Carolina. And oh, by the way, the Jets do visit the Carolina Panthers this year on the schedule. That'll be very interesting. Remember, folks, to follow us online at OpenMicNJ on Twitter, Facebook.com/OpenMicProgram, and also like and subscribe here to the Sports Talk Nation. Leave your thoughts below. What do you think? How do you feel about this trade? Obviously, the Jets get a nice haul in return as far as draft picks are concerned. Will Joe Douglas get this right? Leave your thoughts below. I know a lot of people have been kind of split on this issue with Zach Wilson for a while now. It's times 50-50, even 60-40. A lot of people are in the Zach Wilson bandwagon for that matter. But I'm more in the let's wait and see what happens mode right now at this point. But, folks, remember, we'll talk to you next time right here on the Sports Talk Nation.